What's going on, you guys? Welcome to It's Real to Us, the wrestling podcast. I am Anthony the Mark.
And I am Tony the Father.
And today we are recapping and discussing the September 9th edition of Monday Night Raw. There was a lot of great matches, a lot of big moments, but perhaps the biggest and most noteworthy thing to come out of Raw was from the main event, where Jey Uso successfully defeated Ilya Dragunov, Braun Strowman, and Pete Dunne to become the #1 contender for the Intercontinental Championship, Tony.
That's going to be a great match. Uso finally gets his due. I'm glad he's going to be in a title match. Everyone thinks Braun Breaker. I don't know. I think it's going to be a great match. I'm pulling for Uso. I'm glad he's got the shot. And we got a new match, a new feud. Thank God. I've been looking for this, so I'm so happy about this.
I'm glad that Uso's going to be doing something of relevance aside from being Rhea Ripley's arm candy. But I do feel as if it's just, I don't know, we're just going to keep you kind of busy until we need you for the whole bloodline angle, like the bloodline civil war. It doesn't feel like Jey Uso is a legitimate threat to dethrone Braun Breaker, in my opinion.
No, I disagree. He's one of the biggest stars right now on Raw. The fans love him. The crowd loves him. Everybody gets excited. When he comes out, you get that sense, wow, wow, wow. So I think he's got a big shot to win that title. Braun Breaker can afford to take a loss early in his career. He's going to be a future star in WWE, Braun Breaker. They're going to push him down the road, so there's no reason not to give him a loss right away now. He's had the title for a couple months, and maybe he can take it off of Uso again next year before Uso's going to go into the bloodline. So I think it's going to be a great match. I'm just looking forward to having a new story on Raw. I'm sick of the same stuff, so I'm rooting for Uso.
I could definitely see Jey Uso maybe winning the title, Braun Breaker getting it back relatively quickly, but considering we're in this Triple H era, he likes to drag everything out. I don't see H looking at Braun Breaker, somebody who he considers to be a future star for years and years to come, and he's going to be like, okay, we're taking the title off you right now. I think he wants to build Braun Breaker as a legit, credible threat, and you do that by having a long reign, at least in Triple H's eyes.
Yeah, but we have too many champs that are going to be long-reign champs now. You got Gunther, Cody Rhodes, now you're going to have Braun Breaker, another guy that's going to hold a title for years or a year, 6 months. I don't want to see it. And how cool would it be to put that title on Uso right now, Monday Night Raw, when you're up against the NFL, and it's must-see TV now, so we're going to see, I want to see Jey Uso defend that title on Raw. And, he can have a Seth Rollins effect. It could be a big push for Monday Night Raw also right now competing with the NFL. So I think Uso is a perfect time to put the title on him right now.
I want Jey Uso, but my brain is telling me Braun Breaker. But what do you think? Reach out, let us know. You can find us on X, Instagram, and TikTok at It's Real to Us. And on YouTube, we are at It's Real to Us 1. And also, the podcast that you're listening to right now is available wherever you get your podcast, Apple Music, Spotify, wherever. So we want to know what you think happens, Jey Uso, Braun Breaker. But for now, we're moving on to how Raw started. And that was with the highly, highly entertaining 4-on-4 mixed person street fight between the Wyatt Six and American Made. This was as competitive, as hard-hitting as a street fight gets. The Wyatt Six ended up winning the match after Uncle Howdy got involved. Basically made it a 5-on-4. He hit Sister Abigail, and then they were able to pick up the win really quick after that. So what were your thoughts on the match and the results?
It was a good match. The Wyatt Six was involved. They were going up against American Made. I love their outfits, American Made. They always look sharp.
They did look good, especially
they always
tonight.
Look, too. They're a tight unit when it comes to their clothing. I love it. I'm losing the appeal a little bit with the Wyatt Six. When they come in the ring and they're wrestling without their costumes, without that shock factor, with that aura, it's a tough thing they have to do. They have to combine that, invincible,
supernatural,
scary, superpower. You look when they're by themselves and it's dark, and then when they become wrestlers, they got to evolve a little differently. So, it was a very good match. It was entertaining. It was a nice way to kick off the show. I'm glad they got the W. They're going to have to keep winning to stay relevant as wrestlers. They can't take a loss right now. You don't have superstars there. Think about it. If the Wyatt Six if they weren't in the Wyatt Six, Loomis,
Rowan, Gacy, Nikki Cross, Bo Dallas.
If they weren't in the Wyatt Six, Dallas, Loomis, Casey, Nikki Cross. Where would they be on this card? Where would they be in WWE right now? Would they be jobbers? Would they be now and then you're going to see them? So that's why I want to see more of the Wyatt Six, that shock, that scare factor. Let them pop up behind you in the dark so I get those goosebumps. I haven't had those goosebumps in a couple times seeing them. So nice to see them win. I hope they stay around. So it was a great match, though. I enjoyed it.
It was a great match. I was entertained throughout, and I want to shout out one spot specifically. Early in the contest, Eric Rowan was buried by tables, chairs, trash cans, and Tony and I are looking at each other. He's like, oh, I can't wait for Rowan to break free from that. And like a zombie, he rose from the dead in the middle of the match, and he broke free. That was really fun. They went through a whole bunch of tables, so I was thoroughly enjoyed, and I think that this was another good win for the Wyatt Six. I hear what you're saying about maybe them being a little overexposed, and you don't want to lose the mystique, but they're going to be regulars on Monday Night Raw, so we're going to have to integrate them, and you do that by having them wrestle in these types of matches. It was fun seeing them as a group wrestle. I don't think I've ever seen a mixed 8-person tag team street fight. So this Wyatt Six family, they're opening up different possibilities, different matches, different feuds. So whatever they do going forward, I am in for.
You know what they need a little of the Wyatt Six right now? You want to keep them relevant as wrestlers. Have them wrestle in their, costumes or their attire.
You can't do that. It'd be a million degrees in the costume.
Listen to me. Have them wrestle as those scary characters in a squash match here and there. Put them up against a bunch of nobodies, jobbers.
You can't do that.
Why?
You got to keep it consistent. They are supernatural beings when they're not wrestling. When they're wrestling,
well,
they're
then,
human.
all right, if you don't want to do that, have them wrestle as Joe Gacy and Dexter Loomis.
That's what they do.
Okay, but I want to see a squash match a couple of times where they destroy someone quick.
This was a send-off match. This was the end, and I'm going to say it definitively, of the Wyatt Six versus the American Made. This was the stamp that, okay, we're ready to move on. We threw out all the stops, and now what comes next for the Wyatt Six?
All right, it's just Triple H you're talking about.
I think it's over. I think it's over because they've been doing this for a very, very long time. Think about when the Wyatt Six debuted. That was a couple months ago at this point. That's when this feud started.
But that's my point I've been making for weeks now
No,
about what Triple H is doing.
No, I understand, but what I'm trying to say is that it's over. Okay, Wyatt Six is moving on to someone else next week. Who is it going to be? I personally would like to see it be the New Judgment Day. Maybe after Bad Blood, Rhea Ripley, Damian Priest. We're getting, a little spoiler. We're getting big matches at Bad Blood between Terror Twins versus the Judgment Day. Maybe that's their send-off. Maybe they're done after Bad Blood, and we're going in a whole bunch of different directions. How cool would it be to see the Wyatt Six going up against the New Judgment Day? Because you have five, one woman, whole bunch of men. They fit perfectly for a feud.
Yeah, it would be a great feud, but that's something that they would stretch for a year probably if it was like that. I'd like to see that too. Or maybe Karrion Kross's crew. Maybe they'll go after those guys.
The Final Testament.
That could be that. Well, you know what? If you want to put the Wyatt Six over, let them beat.
You want to see them involved in meaningful matches and feuds. Going up against the Final Testament isn't meaningful. It's never been meaningful.
But they're not going to go up against Judgment Day right now. Judgment Day's in the middle of the feud with.
I'm not saying this week. I'm not saying next week. But I think post Bad Blood, which is October 5th, you will see the New Judgment Day start to feud with the Wyatt Six. Okay, so that's what the Wyatt Six does. What does American Made do? I mean, Chad Gable, Julius Creed, Brutus Creed, Ivy Nile, some of the most talented people on the roster. There are those of us who will say, oh, they shouldn't have lost so easily to the Wyatt Six, but they did. I don't think they'll suffer because of it, but what do they do now? Tony, any idea?
Maybe they go up against Karrion Kross's crew. That could be a good fit.
You are all in on the Final Testament.
You know what? I like the big guys. They wrestle decent. So keep them alive, and you could put American Made against the Final Testament, and then down the road you put American Made over the Final Testament because they're going to get buried anyway by Triple H sooner or later.
I'd like to see Julius and Brutus get their hands on those tag titles. I think that would be a great way to push that young tag team going forward and give the group a little credibility because they need some after losing so decisively to the Wyatt Six. But that is a conversation for another day. So let's go ahead and move on to everything else that happened on Raw. And we got to talk about the best there was, the best there is, and the best there ever will be. Bret the Hitman Hart made his return to WWE because, of course, they were in Canada, which is where Hart is from. He came out, he did his catchphrases. Everybody was so excited to see him. And then the World Heavyweight Champion, the Ring General, interrupted him and just gave us one of the greatest lines I have ever heard.
That was funny.
Bret, you're my second favorite wrestler of all time. I appreciate everything you do. I loved watching you. You are just behind Bill Goldberg.
Goldberg.
For my favorite wrestler.
That backstab Bret Hart big time.
And as most of us know, Bret Hart famously hates Bill Goldberg, so this was hysterical. I was almost in tears when Gunther said that. This also prompted Sami Zayn to come out and defend his hero, Bret Hart. Remember, Sami Zayn is Canadian, so
yeah, he stuck up
we're
for his
Canadians.
countrymen.
We
He
gotta-
stuck
we
up
gotta-
for his
We got
countrymen.
to stand up for one another. And he once again asked Gunther for a shot at the World Heavyweight Championship. Gunther said no. He walked away. Then things got a little physical between Sami and Gunther before officials pulled them apart. So, Tony, my question to you first is, what did you think about seeing Bret Hart on Raw?
Love Bret Hart. Big Bret Hart fan. Grew up watching Bret Hart. Super wrestler. Kind of underrated as an all-time best. And it was nice to see him come out with WWE once again because they had the falling out. Last time I saw him, he was on AEW. So it's kind of nice to see him. It's in Canada. He came out. He did his nice promo. He was sitting in the ring with Sami Zayn. He went eye to eye with Gunther. So, it was nice to see Bret Hart. And I thought he did a great job last night.
Yeah, it was nice seeing Bret. He did a good job, but it is always, I always do have like the thought in the back of my mind. It's like, this guy hates everyone he's working with right now. He spoke so bad about Triple H in interviews. He spoke bad about WWE
He got
in general.
screwed over by all of these guys.
No, I get it.
Too
I get
bad.
it.
This guy wore his heart on his sleeve. You don't remember Bret Hart. I do. He got screwed over in Canada by Vince McMahon.
Montreal Screwjob,
yeah,
97.
and the WWE, and Triple H was in on it, and everybody was in on it. They threw him under the bus. So he's got a lot of bad blood there, a lot of animosity, and good for him to show up and put everything behind him and still walk out and do a great job. So this is for you, Bret Hart.
Okay, so let's talk about now Sami Zayn and Gunther. Because once again, the World Heavyweight Champion denied the last wrestler to successfully pin him a World Heavyweight Championship match. It seems like this match is inevitable between these two.
It's going to happen. It has to happen. Gunther has nothing else going on going into Bad Blood.
Well, he doesn't have to wrestle at Bad Blood.
He's going to, though. Come on. Sami Zayn, too. He's got nothing going on. It's a perfect thing that they're going to intertwine and they're going to have a rematch again. And how can Gunther not want to beat Sami Zayn in a rematch and kick his ass like he should have the first time?
100%. This is a way for Gunther to rectify his WrestleMania loss. And I've said this for a couple of weeks now. This is the thing I love most about Gunther's championship run so far. It all makes sense. Randy Orton didn't get a clean match against Gunther at King and Queen of the Ring. So Gunther, he silenced that. He put Randy Orton to bed clean. He was the face at Bash in Berlin. Randy Orton shook his hand after the match. It was a passing of the torch moment. And now he is going to beat the man who beat him at WrestleMania. He's pretty much tying up all his loose ends.
Yeah, and then going forward, we're going to see how great Gunther is and how big is Gunther going to be the face of WWE 2025? It's very possible because we have CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, and Seth Rollins waiting in the wings to challenge Gunther on Raw. So you got a year worth of matches there that are going to be fantastic with Gunther after he gets through Sami Zayn. So I think between now and the end of the year, he's going to tighten things up and put all his loose ends behind him. And then going forward, we got incredible wrestling coming up with those four guys.
Okay, so real quick, and we'll move on. Sami Zayn has no chance to beat Gunther when they fight for the title?
The first time they said, the first time they fought, I said it would be the upset of the century, and it would never happen. Never happen, and it did. So I still think this would be the upset of the century. If he beats Gunther twice in 1 year, his face on WWE 2K in 2026 or 2025 will never happen. So I think Gunther beats Sami Zayn. They're going to fight at Bad Blood, and I think it's going to be one of those kind of quick matches that Sami doesn't really get involved in. It doesn't go that long, and he takes a convincing loss.
Okay, so we'll see if that gets made official for Bad Blood. But what we do know is official for Bad Blood. Liv Morgan will defend the Women's World Championship against Rhea Ripley, and Finn Balor and Damian Priest will put their personal rivalry front and center for all to see when they go at it one-on-one. This was confirmed on Monday night when Finn Balor cut a promo blaming Damian Priest for ending the Judgment Day. Damian came out, blamed Finn Balor. We got a match. It was official. And then we had all types of hell break loose. All of the Judgment Day were beating up one-legged Rhea Ripley. Damian Priest was laying on top of her, and they were hitting him with a
crutch.
They were hitting him with a crutch, and this was the first time the New Judgment Day got over on the Terror Twins in what feels like forever. Jey Uso came out and made the save, but what did you think of all of that and the matches we now have official for Bad Blood?
Well, I like the matches we have official, but we knew they were going to be official. It's just another Triple H is just typical stories once again. We're going to carry this out for a while now.
But this might be the end.
It's not going to be the end. If this is the end, that means you're going to have Rhea take the title. You're going to have Damian pin Finn. Is that what you're saying?
It could be. Could happen.
Okay. So if that happens, how the hell does the Judgment Day stay afloat? Where do they go after that? You know, how does the Judgment Day go forward? If Liv loses the title, Finn gets pinned, how do they go forward?
Oh, yeah, they're dead after that.
They're dead.
They're dead.
What are they going to do? They're going to be jobbers? The Judgment Day is going to be jobbers? What I think is going to happen is you're going to get a split. Maybe Rhea wins the title, Finn pins Damian. Maybe Liv retains the title, Damian pins Finn. Maybe Liv retains the title, and the Demon shows up and pins Damian. Now, if I'm booking this and I want to carry this forward into the holidays, Thanksgiving and Christmas, the end of the year, I have the Judgment Day winning both of these matches. Maybe you have Liv winning the match over Rhea with outside interference. Everybody knew she was going to lose, but she skates away because of what happened. And the same thing with Finn. I think they're going to carry this forward, and you're going to see Rhea win the title back off of Liv, and maybe Damian Finn pin, but not now. It's going to be down the road. Down the road. So I see the Judgment Day actually doing very well in this where everyone thinks they're not, because if you want to keep them relevant, you want to keep them in the limelight, you want to keep them to watch on TV, you want to see what's going to happen with them next week, you can't take the title off of Liv and let Finn get pinned. And what are we going to do? Carlito's going to throw an apple at somebody? You know, well, what else do they got? What is Dom going to do? You know, was McDonough going to headbutt somebody? So, you know, I'm looking forward to it. But like I said, I've been saying since the beginning, I'm a big fan of the New Judgment Day. I like them. Everyone's like, oh, Rhea this, and they got screwed in. What did Damian do to Edge? Does everybody forgets the original Judgment Day leader who got thrown under the bus, and who orchestrated that? You did, Damian.
Okay, so we'll see what happens at Bad Blood, and we'll give you all of our predictions for our entire Bad Blood show, which will be coming out probably a week before the show. But let's keep it on Monday Night Raw. Finn Balor also had a match this past week when he took on Rey Mysterio, and it was a good match. It was competitive. But just as the match got going, Finn Balor got disqualified after he refused to let Rey Mysterio go when the two were caught up in the ropes. And then Balor unleashed, I don't know, maybe this is a little bit of a preview, the Demon on Rey Mysterio. He completely assaulted the Lucha Libre legend, and this was definitely a new side of Finn Balor. Or maybe not a new side, but this is an aggressive side of Finn Balor that we've once seen before. Maybe he's bringing it back to the surface because he's tired of being a sidekick.
When Finn approached Damian in the ring, he basically said, I've been your sidekick, and I'm sick of it. So, you know what? Good for Finn Balor, because Finn Balor is a great wrestler. And I think bringing that demon back, if that demon comes back, how cool would it be? Give that Judgment Day a little more juice, a little more fire. So I'm glad, I think Finn has got a little attitude now. He's got something to prove. So I was happy what he did to Ray, last night.
I was happy, too. I was a little disappointed because I think that Ray and Finn have some insane chemistry, and I would have liked to have seen the match finish, but maybe we get that down the line. The LWO's hanging out. That's another big faction on Raw, so we can get them involved against the New Judgment Day, or we can get them involved against the Wyatt Six. So a lot of different opportunities on Monday Night Raw because there are a lot of different factions, but Rey Mysterio, Finn Balor, it's a match I hope they revisit down the line because I think it was getting really, really good until they cut it a little short, but I am excited to see more aggressive Finn Balor. No jokes, no laughs. He's cutthroat. He's serious. So
yeah,
let's see if he can be the leader that this New Judgment Day needs. But speaking of the New Judgment Day, Finn Balor wasn't the only member who wrestled on Raw. We had Dominic Mysterio go up against Dragon Lee. and Dominic was able to pick up the win with help from the New Judgment Day. So not too much to talk about here, Tony. Maybe we're going to get an LWO New Judgment Day feud. Ray and Dom seem certain to fight forever. So what do you think about Dom going over Dragon Lee with the help of the New Judgment Day and the LWO's interactions with?
Well, we're trying to build a Judgment Day. We're trying to build a New Judgment Day up right now.
Right.
So you can't have Finn take a loss. You can't have Dom take a loss.
Finn did take a loss, though. By DQ,
well,
technically.
Yeah, but a DQ loss is different than getting 1, 2, 3 pinned. That's a big difference, especially when he kind of kicked the shit out of Ray and everybody saw it.
Yeah.
So that type of loss they can take, but they can't be getting pinned right now. If you want to put them over and you want to keep the New Judgment Day around for a while, they got to get elevated because, once again, they got the same problem as the Wyatt Six. They don't have the best wrestlers in their faction. If you look overall, there's much more better, powerful, bigger guys in the WWE. So they got to keep winning. They got to build momentum. They have to get some kind of little angle going on. So I'm glad that Dom won that match. Yeah, right now, LWO is putting everybody over. That's what they're doing.
And I think Dom is destined to fight against his dad pretty much until he retires at this point. Just seeing them interact is always must-see television. So I'm glad Dominic was able to pick up the win. He really was only able to do so with help from the rest of the Judgment Day, specifically Liv Morgan, but still a big win for Dominic Mysterio. Moving on, we had a championship match on Monday Night Raw when the new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair, defended the gold against the former champions, the Unholy Union, Isla Dawn and Alba Fire. This was an okay match, but nothing that we haven't seen before because we've seen these teams wrestle a lot. Jade and Bianca retain the titles in a relatively straightforward match. Bianca is great at getting the match started, getting some good offense in, then getting beat up and making the hot tag to Jade. Jade is getting better with her hot tags, so I was happy to see Jade and Bianca win and put this feud hopefully to bed, Tony.
Hopefully. That's the word there, hopefully. I hope next week we don't see Unholy Union come from behind and do something, but yeah, it's nice to see them finally get this win, put this behind them. Let's get another feud going on Raw for Jade and Bianca Belair. I'm tired of this Unholy Union. Once again, this is another Triple H story that's dragging out. I know I'm just beating this to like a dead horse, but I want to see some new stuff. I really do. Like when we saw Jey Uso, he's going to go up against Braun Breaker. That's what I want. I want some new things going on. So what do you think they should do going forward with Jade and Bianca?
So we actually already got an idea of what the champions are going to do going forward, because on Raw we saw Damage Control's Io Sky and Kairi Sane confront the champions backstage. So I think that program would be amazing for the women's division. I think Io Sky is electric. Getting her in the ring with Bianca Belair, we've all seen what they can do one-on-one. They fought a bunch of times. Putting them in a tag setting with Jade, with Kairi, you have the powerhouse and the high flyer. I think that would be a money feud. So hopefully that is the next WWE Women's Tag Team Championship rivalry we get. But if not, there are no shortage of challengers, but that's hopefully what we get. So
yeah, I'm done with the Unholy Union.
Me too.
I hope they go back to NXT.
Unholy Union, not a pro Unholy Union show, but I'll tell you, this is a pro PF Chang's show. Pure Fusion Collective was on Raw yesterday, which means we're all winners. And unfortunately, they lost against Lyra Valkyria, Zelina Vega, and the returning Natalya Neidhart, Canada's own. Tony, how did you feel seeing Natalya?
Natty. It was nice that we saw Natty in her hometown. She came out to help them. And at the end, they ended it with the sharpshooter to tribute for Bret Hart. So that was great last night. I enjoyed that match. Good for Natty, good for Bret Hart, and good for Canada. It was a great night.
Yeah, never happy when Pure Fusion Collective lose, but they had some match and ring attire, so I was happy with that.
They're going to be fine down the road. There 3 of them are stars, all 3 of them.
This might be a little bit of a hot take, but I am very happy to see Natalya back. I think she's a great body in the women's division, and there's going to be a lot of people who get upset about this. Tiny Mike, one of them for sure.
Well, he hates Natty.
What would you think about Natalya Neidhart versus Liv Morgan for the Women's World Championship? I think it would be a great match. I think it would be awesome.
Yeah, when? Now?
No, not now. Say Liv beats Rhea, and they're done. They're going to keep Liv and Rhea apart for a while.
If you want to keep the title on Liv, that's a perfect match to have.
That's not bad.
Somebody like Natty keeps Natty in the spotlight.
Gives Liv a big win.
Gives Liv a big win. It keeps her over
Not
and
bad.
going forward. But I don't know if we're going to do that. I think Natty, you saw Natty last night because it was Canada. We haven't seen her in a while.
So do you think she's back full time or she's
No,
not back?
I think it was a spot.
It's a one-off.
Yeah, it's a one-off. They're not going to inject her into the women's title match just out of the blue.
All right.
It's not going to happen.
So maybe Lyra, Zelina, they form a tag team. They get involved in the women's tag team championship. We will see their Pure Fusion Collective. Rock as always, but we're going to move on now, and we're going to finish with talking about Drew McIntyre, who had a whole lot to say. One, he's not done with CM Punk, even though CM Punk beat him at Bash in Berlin. Two, he wants the World Heavyweight Championship. Three, he's got issues with Wade Barrett.
His buddy,
he went face-to-face with him. He talked some smack, and he goes like, if you ever do that again, I'll put you down. So I'm going to stop right there for a second. Any chance we get a Wade Barrett in-ring return against Drew McIntyre?
that would be cool. I wouldn't mind that at all. I'm pretty sure Barrett could still fight. He's in shape.
He looks
big
great.
Dude, he looks good. And him and Drew got, chemistry together,
A lot
too.
of history there.
Yeah, there's a lot of history. So that could happen maybe after the fact. But right now we got Hell in a Cell, CM Punk,
It's official.
Drew McIntyre, month 9. So let's see what happens if this finally gets to bed. Whoever wins this match, hopefully this will be the end of it, and they're going to go different ways. So, but we're going to see. That's going to be an exciting way to end it. Hell in a Cell. The two guys that we want to see. I'm sure it's going to be a great show. So we'll see what happens. But, I'm looking forward to the match.
Yeah, so before Wade and Drew came to blows, Adam Pearce came out. He calmed Drew McIntyre down, and he said, Drew, CM Punk, you guys are going to have your blow-off match. Hell in a Cell, October 5th, Bad Blood. So let's get into it really quick. We'll give our quick predictions right now. I think Drew McIntyre loses to CM Punk after AJ Lee gets involved. CM Punk's wife helps the Cult of Personality legend win the match.
See, but then if you do that, you're carrying that match again.
No, you're not.
Yes, you are. If someone is losing because they get hit from behind or someone is helping them, it doesn't end the feud, and they're going to carry it down the road. If that happens, I'm going to be upset.
All right, what if
I want a clean win?
What if Wade Barrett gets involved? Then Drew McIntyre could feud with Wade Barrett, and CM Punk is off to do his own thing.
I guess if you want to leave that feud open,
It doesn't leave it open.
Wouldn't it be nice just if they wrestle in a clean match, no matter who wins, 1, 2, 3, and the guy raises his hand.
It would be nice to see who the better man is.
He wins two out of 3 falls. It'd be their third match, and then you move on. Was Wade Barrett going to interfere on Drew and CM Punk pins Drew? So now CM Punk, it's not ended. There's still Drew McIntyre still wants to get a piece of CM Punk. He feels he's cheated. I don't want to see that. This is what they've been doing. This is why I'm upset with WWE right now. They're carrying Triple H. You're carrying this stuff too long. Please end this one way or another. If you want Drew to win or CM Punk to win, make it a great match. Hell in a Cell, but no interference, no doubts, no this. Whoever gets pinned, and both of these guys can go like this. Whomp. Different ways. Maybe Drew goes against Wade Barrett. Maybe Seth Rollins comes back in and we get set up to CM Punk Seth Rollins feud. Maybe Drew's next guy is going to be Gunther. So we have so many things we can do. We don't need to see these guys in the ring after this. And I don't want to see AJ Lee or Wade Barrett or somebody get involved somehow. I want a clean match. Whoever wins, I want it clean.
So that's what the father wants, but what do you want? Reach out, let us know. You can find us on X, Instagram, and TikTok at It's Real to Us, and on YouTube we are at It's Real to Us 1. All right, so that was the September 9th edition of Monday Night Raw. Tony, before we go, did you have a favorite moment of Raw?
Yeah, once again, Bronson Reed shows up, Shamu the Whale, and he destroys Braun Strowman. You see him, all of a sudden I look up and I see somebody flying. I didn't see where he was standing. I just see this big body coming down on Strowman. I couldn't believe it was Bronson Reed. He took him out. So they're definitely setting that up for down the road. Reed versus Braun Strowman. And I thought that was incredible. And that was my favorite spot of the match. I didn't expect that, so it caught me off guard. That's what I like.
Yeah, I think that would be my spot of the night as well. Real quick, and we'll send everybody on their way. Raw 1 to 10, what do you give it?
I don't know. Like I said, it's the same story being told. But we had some new things they threw in there last night, so I'm going to give it an 8. It was a solid show. It was okay.
I agree with the 8 rating, but what did you think? Let us know. We really appreciate all of you guys watching. I am Anthony DeMark.
And I am Tony the Father.
And we'll see you next time on It's Real to Us, the Wrestling Podcast.
Goodbye.